Hey friends, what's going on? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Yud Ches of Masechta Shabbos. Guys, girls, everybody, great daf. Very, very, very awesome daf. And so super quick overview, and then we're just going to jump in. So we start off talking about how many meals you're supposed to eat on Shabbos. How many do you guys think? Well, maybe there's a different opinion. And then we're going to talk just for a second about like washing dishes, I guess, for a little bit, but like literally just for like a second. And then we talk about like just lots of great fun agadatas about Shabbos. So friends, let's just dive in. We're going to start on Daf Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis, 4 lines from the bottom, I guess. Says the Gemara, Ketzad Nafla Deleika Chulenu. So we quote our Mishnah. Our Mishnah had said that, right, you're allowed to save from a fire enough food for 3 meals. So we said, well, okay, so it depends what time, the Tanna Kama said, it depends what time of the day the fire breaks out. If the fire breaks out on Friday night before you've eaten your first meal, so you could save 3 meals, but if the fire breaks out on Shabbos morning before, you already had your night meal, but there's 2 meals ahead of you, so then you save 2. If it's in the afternoon, then you save 1, etc. So now the Gemara says, Tanu Rabbanan, Kamasudis chayv adam lechol b'Shabbos shalosh. So the Brisa says, how many meals is a person obligated to eat on Shabbos? The answer is 3. Rabbi Chidka Omer Arba. Rabbi Chidka says that you eat 4 meals on Shabbos. Amar Yochanan Shneim Mikra Echad Darshu. Says Rabbi Yochanan, and they are both learning it out from the same pasuk. What's that pasuk? Vayomer Moshe Ichlu Ayom Ki Shabbos Ayom LaHashem Hayom Lo Simtza'u Basadeh. So the pasuk says that Moshe says Ichlu Hayom, eat the man today. So it's going to say Hayom 3 times in this verse. So that's already Hayom number 1. Ki Shabbos Hayom LaHashem. Shabbos is the day for God. That's Hayom number 2. Hayom, that's number 3. Lo Simtza'u Basadeh. You are not going to find the man in the field. So it says Hayom 3 times in that verse. Rabbi Chidka savar hanitlasa ayom levarmei urta, v'Rabbanan savi bahadei de urta. So according to Rabbi Chidka, when it says Hayom 3 times in that pasuk, that's referring to 3 meals during the day, but that's in addition to another meal that you have already eaten at night. So therefore it's 4. According to the Chachamim, they say no, meaning when it says Hayom 3 times, it's to say that over the course of Shabbos you eat 3 meals, and that is that. Okay, so that's the machlokas between the Chachamim and Rabbi Chidka. Chachamim say that there is a chiyuv to eat 3 meals on Shabbos. Rabbi Chidka says that there is a chiyuv to eat 4 meals on Shabbos. Now we're going to spend some time trying to see if maybe we can prove one way or the other. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Nafla Dleika B'Leilei Shabbos, if the fire fell out on Friday night, Matzilin Mazin Shalosh Sudis, so we can save enough food for 3 meals. My lab to lo achal. And the Gemara wants to say, and mistama, this is talking about when you have not yet eaten. And since you have not yet eaten any of your meals, and we're saying that you can save enough food for 3 meals, that implies, like the Chachamim, that there's a chiyuv of 3 meals on Shabbos, not 4. Lo, de achal. The Gemara says, no, he already ate his Friday night Suda. Meaning, that's how Rabbi Chidka would have to answer. That he would say, no, you already ate your Friday night Suda, and still you save an additional 3 meals to get to, right, 1 plus 3 is 4. So the Gemara says, Shachris matzilin mazin shtei sudis, malav delo acha. So now again, we say that the Mishnah says, well, if the fire breaks out in Shabbos morning, so then you can save enough for 2 meals, and the assumption is that you have not yet eaten the first meal of the day on Shabbos, and therefore there's still 2 meals ahead of you, right? Which would be a proof for the Chachamim, right? I mean, you already had your Friday night meal, and we're saying that there's 2 meals ahead of you, so that's 3. Lo de achal. So Rabbi Chidka again would answer, no, he already ate his Shabbos morning meal, and still there are another 2 ahead of him, so there's a total of 4 meals. B'mincha matzil mazon suda achas. At mincha, if the fire breaks out, you can save enough food for 1 meal, ma'alav lo achal, and we're assuming that he hasn't yet eaten, which means that he's already eaten 2 meals of Shabbos, and he has not yet eaten his 3rd meal of Shabbos, and we're saying that you can only save enough for one meal. Lo de'achal. Reb Chidka would say that no, he already ate 3 meals on Shabbos, and that's why he's allowed to save one more to be his 4th meal. Okay, whatever it is. The point is that you can't really prove either way from our Mishnah. We're trying to prove, like the Chachamim, Reb Chidka keeps on showing how no, you could technically argue that it's like him as well. But one second. Up until now, what we've been saying with the saving 3 meals, 2 meals, 1 meal, that's the Tanna Kama's opinion. Rabbi Yossi says, no, I don't care what point during the day it is and how many meals you've already eaten. Rabbi Yossi says that it's always going to be 3 meals. So doesn't that sound like basically the machlokas between Rabbi Yossi and the Tanna Kama is, do you have to subtract the number of meals that you've eaten? But they both agree that we're talking about 3 meals here, right? Whereas the Tanna Kama says that it starts off with 3, but as you eat more meals, then you can save less of them. So if you've already eaten 1, then you can only save 2. If you've already eaten 2, you can only save 1, etc. Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's always 3, because on Shabbos we eat 3 meals and that's that. So it sounds like the only thing that the Chachamim and Rabbi Yossi are arguing about is whether you have to subtract the meals that you already ate. But they both agree that we're talking about 3 meals here, not 4 meals. Right? Right? So the Tanna Kama still agrees that there's a total of 3 meals on Shabbos. Just the question is, do you have to subtract the ones that you already ate when we're talking about how many you can save? Fine. So it's clear that our Mishnah would not be supporting Reb Chidka's opinion, but that's okay. Reb Chidka's a Tana. He can say whatever he wants. And he, his opinion differs to our Mishnah, and that's okay. And that which we learned in the Mishnah in Peah, Mishiyesh lo mazon shtei sudes lo yito min atamchui, mazon arba esrei lo yito min akupa. So what's a tamchui and what's a kupa? So a tamchui is basically like a food kitchen kind of thing, right? It's a place where if you need a meal, so you can go there and you can get a free meal. A kupa is more like a weekly stipend. If people didn't feel comfortable going to the soup kitchen, so they can get a weekly stipend. So you have to qualify, however, to be right. The soup kitchen is not available to everybody. You have to qualify to be able to get a free meal at the soup kitchen, and you also need to qualify to get a stipend. So how do you qualify for the soup kitchen and for the stipend? How do you qualify for the tamchui and for the kupa? So the answer is that to qualify for the tamchui, for the daily meal, you have to have less than 2 meals available to you, right? If you have less than 2 meals available to you, so then you can eat from the tamchui, from this ready-made food. To qualify for the weekly stipend, you have to have less than 14 meals, as we're going to see, right? So let's see. So if somebody has enough food for 2 meals, i.e., 2 meals is enough for 1 day. So if somebody has enough food for 1 day, so then he shouldn't go to the soup kitchen. Mazon arba esrei, if somebody has 14 meals, well then lo yito min akupa, he shouldn't receive the weekly stipend. So what do we see? That there's 14 meals in a week. Now, there are 7 days in a week. So that basically means that every single day you're eating 2 meals. What about the fact that on Shabbos you have to have 3? What happened to that? So money, lo rabbanan v'lo Reb Chidka. This sounds like it's neither like the rabbis nor like Reb Chidka. I rabbanan chamesrei avyon, I Reb Chidka shisrei avyon. If this was according to the rabbanan, then they would have to, right, to qualify for the weekly stipend, you should have to have enough less than 15 meals, right? Right? Because every week you have 15 meals. For 6 days of the week you have 2 meals, so that's 12. And then on Shabbos you have 3, so that's 15. Yet this Mishnah is saying that a weekly number of meals is 14. And according to Reb Chidka, on Shabbos you have to have 4 meals. So for the 6 days of the week it would be 2 meals, so that would be 12. Plus another 4 meals for Shabbos, so it would be 16. But again, the Mishnah is only saying 14. So the Olam Rabbanon. So the Gemara answers, no, really, you could say that this Mishnah is in line with the Rabbanon. Okay, what about the fact that the Rabbanon would say that on Shabbos you have to have 3 meals, not 2? And we say that which you would eat on Saturday night, eat on Shabbos. Meaning, let's just think about it. for a second. So if you're going to eat 2 meals a day, so let's just assume that you have, let's say, you would have like a lunch and you'd have a dinner. So let's say it's Sunday, so you can have Sunday afternoon lunch, and then Sunday night you can have dinner. So let's say now you get to Friday and Shabbos. So again, so Friday, you'd have 2 meals on Friday. So you'd have your lunch, which is before Shabbos. Then you'd have your Friday night meal. So that's already your first meal of Shabbos. Okay. Now, what would normally happen would be, let's say, so on Shabbos day now, you'd have Shabbos lunch. That would be the second meal of Shabbos. And then at night, you would have your second meal of the day. The thing is, it's already after Shabbos at night, right? So what the Chacham are suggesting is just, you know what? What they're suggesting is just, instead of having your second meal on Shabbos at night, which would be after Shabbos, just bump it up a few hours so that you have it while it's still Shabbos. And there, you don't have to add any extra meals. You don't need actually 15 meals. 14 meals will suffice. You just have to time them properly so that 3 of them will fall out on Shabbos, but it's really not a big deal. It's just a matter of, switching the time that you normally eat, moving it up by a few hours. That way you can have 3 meals on Shabbos. But it's really not such a big deal. You don't have to have, the Rabbanan wouldn't say that to qualify for the weekly stipend, you'd have to have 15 meals. No, 14 meals is enough to be able to eat 2 meals a day and also to be able to have 3 meals on Shabbos. Fine. So the Gemara says, Lema Rabbanani v'lo Reb Chidka. Well, if that's the case, then let's say that the Mishnah is davka like the Rabbanan and is not like Reb Chidka. So interestingly, afilu tem Reb Chidka. You can even say that the Mishnah is Reb Chidka, but how could it possibly be Reb Chidka? How with 14 meals in a week are you going to still manage to have 4 meals on Shabbos? So Reb Chidka says, well, because we'll say that the meal that you were going to have on Friday afternoon, just save it for Shabbos, okay? So normally on Friday, you would have 2 meals, meaning normally every day of the week you'd have 2 meals, one for lunch and one for dinner. So on Friday, just skip lunch, save that meal for dinner, and your Friday lunch will, save it for Friday dinner, and that will be your first meal on Shabbos. And then you still have, the second meal from Friday plus the 2 for Shabbos, and those will be your 3 meals the next day, and you'll have a total of 4 meals. The Gemara says, but that's not very nice. And what, all day Friday he's got to fast? He can't eat anything all day on Friday because he's got to save his lunch so that he can have a dinner and then have 3 the next day? So Ella, Hamani Rabbi Akiva. You know what? Listen to this, friends. Who is the author of this Mishnah? Rabbi Akiva is the author of this Mishnah. Der Amar Aseh Shabbos Chachol V'Titztarech Lebrios. So Rabbi Akiva actually says, you know what? When the Chachamim say that you have to have 3 meals on Shabbos, when Reb Chidka says you have to have 4 meals on Shabbos, that's if you can afford it. If you can afford it, the Chachamim would say have 3 on Shabbos. Reb Chidka says have 4 on Shabbos. But when we're talking about, getting public stipends for, so that you can afford to put food on the table, that is just going to cover the necessities. To survive, a person needs to have 2 meals a day. That the assumption is a person needs to have 2 meals a day to survive. And therefore, that is what the public funds will provide a person who needs to make ends meet. However, don't come and say, I need a weekly stipend because I don't have enough food to put on the table. And we say, well, do you have enough for 14 meals? He says, yeah, but I need to have 4 meals on Shabbos. No, you don't need to have 4 meals on Shabbos. In order to qualify for public funds, we're talking about covering the basics. If you can afford it, so then have 3 meals on Shabbos or 4 meals on Shabbos. However, he says, Aseh Shabbat Chachol, make your Shabbos more mundane, more like a weekday, and just have 2 meals on Shabbos. Ve'al titztarech lebrios, rather than collect money in order to cover. As Rashi says, V'lo yatil al acherim kvod shabsosav. You shouldn't make it other people's responsibility, right? Kvod Shabsosav, the honor of his Shabbos. Meaning, you should honor Shabbos and do whatever you can to honor Shabbos, but it's not other people's responsibility to make sure that you are having an honorable Shabbos. That is your responsibility. And if for whatever reason, unfortunately, it's not going to work out right now, so it won't work out right now. So that which we learn in the Mishnah, friends, where's this Mishnah? Also in Peah, also in the same parak, also in the same Mishnah. Okay. And that which we learn in the Mishnah, in Pochas and La'ania over Mimakum Lemakum. So a poor person who's going from one place to the next place, and he's collecting food, money. So we don't give him less mikikar befundion, from a loaf of bread that is bought for 1 pundion, midalet sa'in besela, at the time when you can get 4 sa'as for 1 selah. Okay, basically it's a certain, the Mishnah is just telling you a certain amount of bread that we should provide for an ani. Lan, if he's going to stay for the night, nosen lo parnasas lina, so we give him what he needs to sleep, and the Gemara is going to explain what that is. V'im Shabbis, and if it's Shabbis, nosen lo mazon gimel sudis, so we give him enough food for 3 sudis. No, so that sounds like it's like the Chachamim, of course, right? Reb Chidka, of course, would say 4 sudis. So le'emar Rabbanan v'lo Reb Chidka. So let's say that this Mishnah is like the Rabbanan, it's not like Reb Chidka. So the Olam Reb Chidka, no, you can still argue that this Mishnah is Reb Chidka. What? But it says 3 meals, not 4. Kugon de'ika suda bahade. It's because the ani has his emergency backup suda for if he needs it. And therefore, we give him 3 sudis, and we say, eat your 4th meal as your 4th suda, right? The meal that you have with you, eat that, and then we'll give you another 3. That's how Reb Chidka explains the Mishnah. Fine. V'chi azil b'reikan azil, but then what? If we're forcing him to eat his special reserve of meal, so then he's going to eat that special meal, and plus his 3 that we're going to provide him, that means that then when he leaves town, he's going to mamish have no food? That's a little risky for him. So the Malvina le'suda bahade. No, on Sunday morning when he leaves, we give him an additional meal, so that we basically replace his replacement meal, his backup meal. Fine. Now the Gemara wants to know, my parnasas lino, what does it mean that we have to give him what he needs to sleep? Amar Rav Papa Purya uvesadya, we give him a bed and a pillow. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, kairis she'achal ba'in arvis, the dishes that a person used at his Friday night Suda, madichan lecho ba'in shachar, so you can wash them so that you can use them again for your Shabbos morning meal. Shachar madichan lecho ba'in b'tzarayim. In the morning, whatever dishes he used at breakfast, he can wash them so that he can use them at lunch. And whatever dishes he used during lunch, he could wash so that he could use them for shalosh shudis. However, after shalosh shudis, you do not wash the dishes that use the shalosh shudis, because it's clear that you're doing it for after Shabbos. Aval, kosis v'kitonius utzlochius, madiach v'holech kol hayom kulo lefi she'ein kevel l'shtiya. However, cups and ladles, I don't know what these ladles are, and pitchers, you can wash, whenever you want, right, all day. Lefi she'ein kevel l'shtiya, because there's no set time for drinking. Interesting. There's no set time for drinking, and therefore, even after shalosh shudis, you can still wash the cups and things, because you could still drink whenever you want. Amr Shimon ben Pazi, Amr Yeshua ben Levi, Mishum bar Kapare, Kol Mekayim Shalosh Sudis b'Shabbos Nitzol Mishalosh Pur Anios. Anybody who has 3 meals on Shabbos, he's saved from 3 troubles. Mechevlo shel Mashiach, from the pains of Mashiach, Umidina shel Gehenim, and from the judgment of Gehenim, Umimulchemes Gog uMagog, and you'll be saved from the war of Gog and Magog. Mechevlo shel Mashiach ksivhacha yom. How do you know that he's going to be saved from the pains of Mashiach? As it says over here, yom, right? As we saw earlier, Vayom Moshe ichlu hayom. Uchsivasam, it says by Mashiach, Yinei anochi sholeach lochem es Elia hanavi. I am sending to you Elia the Navi, lifnei bo yom v'gomer, before the day of God comes. Midina shel Gehenim, he's going to be saved from the judgment of Gehenim. Ksivacha yom uchsivasam yom evra hayom hahu. As it says by Gehenim, it is a day of anger that day. Mimuchemes Gog uMagog, he will be saved from the war of Gog and Magog. Ksivacha yom uchsivasam biyom ba Gog, on the day that Gog comes. Biyom bo Gog, at the day that Gog comes. Rabbi Yosi, says Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yosi, anybody who enjoys Shabbos, or he makes Shabbos enjoyable, so we give him an inheritance without any borders. Interestingly, in Masechta Brachas, at the end of the 7th parak, Rabbi Yochanan says that anybody who fills up a kos shel bracha, so we also give him a nachla bli mitzarim. So maybe if on Shabbos you fill up a kos shel bracha with some very, very delicious wine, well then, mamish, you get the oneg Shabbos, you get the kos shel bracha, you mamish get a nachla bli mitzarim. Wow. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, as tisana gal Hashem. Then, right, it says in the pasuk of right, im tashim Shabbos glecha ases chafatzechem im kashiv kosel Shabbos oneg lekdosh Hashem mechubad, etc., etc., and then it says az tisana gal Hashem. So if you have oneg Shabbos v'kavticha b'masei aretz, He will have you ride on the upper echelons of the world. V'achalticha nachlas Yankiv avicha v'gomer, and I will feed to you the inheritance of Yaakov, your father. Lo ke'Avram, shekasavo kumisalich baretz lo'arka v'gomer, not the inheritance of Avram, who it says, get up and walk in the land to its length and its width, but nonetheless, the length and the width of the land, no more than that. V'lo ke'Yitzchak, shekasavo kilchol azarecha etein es kol haaretz el, and not like Yitzchak, who he says that to you and your children I will give to you these lands. Ella, nachlas Yaakov, I will give you the inheritance of Ki Yaakov, Shekasabo, that it says by him, Ufaratzta Yamav, Akedmav, Tzafonav, Anegba, you will break forth west and east and north and south, and it will never end. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Amar Nitzol Mishibud Malchios, says Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, if you, if you give enjoyment, if you make Shabbos enjoyable, so then, if you make it a delight, so then you will, be saved from the shibud malchios, from the enslavement of kingships. Any other foreign governments or whatever, I think, that are sort of in control of us, will be saved from that. It says over here by oneg Shabbos, it says that I will ride. You will ride on the upper echelons of the land. And it says over there, it says by your enemies that you will, trample on their high places. Anybody who makes Shabbos enjoyable, we give him what he wants, everything that his heart desires. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, that and you will rejoice, you will enjoy God, and He will give you everything that you want. Oneg ze'eni yodea ma'u. What is this oneg? How can I do this enjoyment so that I can get whatever I want? So when it says that you will call Shabbos a delight, I see what you mean by oneg. You mean making Shabbos enjoyable. But how do you make Shabbos enjoyable? Review the bread of Shmuel bar Shilas mishmei Rav Omer b'tav shel tradin. You make epis of borscht, and then as Rashi says, chashuvu. It's very, very, very fancy. Vidagim, gdolim, and nice big fish. V'rashe shumin, and garlic heads. Rav Chia bar Ashi Amar, Rav afilu davar mu'at, v'lichvot Shabbos aso, harei oneg. Even if you make something small, but you make it for Shabbos, that is enjoyable. Mahi, what is this small thing? Amra papa kasa the harsana. It's his little fried fish. Which is very interesting. That it's funny because Rav Chia bar Ashi is saying the name of Rav, that even if you make something small and it's oneg Shabbos, so then so whatever that's oneg Shabbos. We say, what's the example? Fried fish. You guys remember 10 daf ago on daf Kuf Ches, what did Shmuel make for Rav when he came with a stomach bug to Bavel? Shmuel made for him fried fish so that he would get diarrhea. And now Rav is saying that dafka fried fish is oneg Shabbos. I guess it probably wasn't so oneg then. Okay, I guess it depends on your perspective or your context. Amar Reb Chia bar Abba, Amar Reb Yochanan, says Reb Chia bar Abba in the name of Reb Yochanan, called Meshamer Shabbos kilchaso. Somebody who is Shomer Shabbos kalache, afilu ovid avodah zarah kedor enosh, even if he's an idol worshipper, like the generation of Enosh, mochelin lo, we will forgive him. Shenemar ashrei Enosh yaisezos, v'gomer, praised is fortunate is the man who does this. What does it say? Shomer Shabbos mechalelo, right? Somebody who guards Shabbos from making it profane. Rather, it is forgiven him. So it says Ashri Enosh. Praise it is the man. Fortunate is the man. But Enosh, the drasha is Enosh is referring to the generation of Enosh. As it says, Azhucha likro b'shem Hashem. It says at that point in the days of Enosh, they made God's name Chulin. They started to serve Avodah Zarah. So worship Avodah Zarah. So even if a person does Avodah Zarah, like the generation of Enosh, says, right, Shomer Shabbos mechalelo machul lo. It is forgiven to him. Amar Yehuda Amar Rab, Ilmalei Shamru Yisrael Shabbos Rishona Lo Shalta Bayan Uma Velashon. If only the Yidden would have guarded that first Shabbos, no other nation would be able to have strength over us, to rule over us. Shenema, as the Pasuk says, Vayiba Yom Hashvi Yatzu Min Ha'am Lilkot, that it says that on the seventh day, on Shabbos, some of the nation went out to collect man when they were not supposed to. And it says afterwards, Vayavu Amalek, that Amalek came. But if they would not have done that, then we're arguing that Amalek would not have come. Amr Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Shimon ben Yochai Ilmalei Mishamin Yisrael Shtei Shabbosos Kilchason Miyad Nigalim. Says Rabbi Yochanan, the name of Shimon ben Yochai, if only the Yidden would guard 2 Shabboses Ka'alacha, they would immediately get redeemed. Shenamar, as the Pasuk says, Kayama Hashem, so says God, La Sarisim Asher Yishmu Es Shabsosai. I think Sarisim are what, like officers? Who will guard my Shabbatot, my plural Shabboses, right? So that's minimum of 2. And it says immediately afterwards, not immediately afterwards, like a few psukim afterwards, I believe. Yeah. And I will bring them to my holy mountain, Vigomer. Rabbi Yossi says, may my portion be with those who eat 3 meals on Shabbos. I also want that my portion should be with those people who say Hallel every single day. Ini, really? But I thought we said Akori Hallel b'chol yom, harizim chayiv megadev. I thought that if somebody says Hallel, somebody thinks, you know what, I have a great idea. Every single day, I'm going to say Hallel because I'm so thankful to God and I want to praise God every single day. I'm just going to say Hallel every single day. Guess what? That's Mechayif Megadef. He's like cursing and blaspheming. How come? Because Hallel is supposed to be something special. As Rashi says, what does Rashi say? Mechayif Megadef, Shenevim Arishonim Tignu Lomar B'Prokim, L'Shevach V'Odaya. The Nevi'im Rishonim, they established that at times, you should, it's reserved for special times when we want to have Shevach V'Odaya. Don't just say Hallel every single day. So how come Rabbi Yossi is saying that my portion should be with those people that say Hallel every single day? He says, Ki kamrina b'psukei de zimra. When they say that, I'm talking about psukei de zimra. The people say psukei de zimra every day. And as Rashi says, what's psukei de zimra? Shnei mizmorim, the Rashi, Dibra Mascho, psukei de zimra. Shnei mizmorim shall hilulim. Halu es Hashem en Hashemayim, halu kel b'kod show. Right, it's with it by the Halalukas in Psukei de Zimra. So there's the 3rd Halaluka and the 5th Halaluka. Well, Amr Rabbi Yossi, Eichalkim imispalim im dimdumei chama. Says Rabbi Yossi, may my portion be with those who pray when the sun is red, ki'ilu, in the morning at Netzacham and in the evening at Shkia. Amr Rabbi Chia bar Abba, Amr Rabbi Yochanan, mitzvah l'spalim dimdumei chama. It's a mitzvah to pray when the sun is red. Right, when the sun rises and when the sun sets. Amr B'Zera Maikra, where do we have a pasuk for this? Yirauchem Shemesh L'fnei Yoreach Dordorim, that they will fear you with the sun and before the moon, i.e. when the sun rises and when the sun sets, for all generations. Amr Rabbi Yossi Yechelkim Imeisei B'Choli Me'ayim, says Rabbi Yossi, says, I want to die from a stomach disease. To Amr Myers, the pasuk says, Ruben Shal Tzadik Imeisim. I don't know if I just said pasuk says, but to Amr Myers we said, Ruban shal tzadikim meisim b'choli me'ayim, that most tzadikim die from some kind of a stomach intestinal disease. And Rashi says, because it's very, very uncomfortable. It says Rashi, b'meisim b'choli b'nei me'ayim, shemisyasrin b'yisurin mismarkin avonosem. Yoiks. That they get all sorts of terrible yisurim, and but then their sins go away. But remember remember the beginning of Gemara Brachas, we were talking about that, when what was it called? Chavivin alecha yisurin, right? They would ask, these different rabbis would have yisurim, and they would say, hey, no, so how are you enjoying your yisurim? They says, I don't want them, I don't want their reward. It's interesting that we see Rabbi Yossi saying, bring it on, I want these yisurim. But then we saw by these other rabbis that when they actually got yisurim, they didn't actually love it so much. But, okay. Whatever, interesting. Okay, let's go weiter. Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi, my portion should be with those who die on the way to doing a mitzvah. Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi, my portion should be with those who bring in Shabbos and Tiberia and those who bring out Shabbos and Tzipori. So Rashi says because in Tiberia is lower down, it's in a valley, and therefore therefore the sun sets earlier, right, on Friday, because it's blocked by the mountains. So because the sun sets earlier, so therefore Mimela they'll bring in Shabbos early. So he wants that his portions to be with those who bring in Shabbos in Tiberia, and those who bring out Shabbos in Tzipori, because Tzipori was higher up, and therefore it would take longer for the sun to set, so therefore they would have a longer Shabbos. Now in Gemara, in Brachis, in the 8th parak, so they also say that, right, Dafka, on Erev Shabbos in Tiberia, there would be the smell of incense because they were making their clothing smell good. And on Motzai Shabbos in Tzipori, they would have the smell also of the incense for their clothing as well. So it's interesting if there's like a connection over there, also between the Erev Shabbos rituals in Tiberia versus Tzipori. Okay. V'amar Rabbi Yossi Chelki im Moshive Beis HaMedrash v'lo mima'amidei Beis HaMedrash. Says, look, I want my portion to be with the people who are gathering people to sit down in the Beis HaMedrash, not with the people who are telling the students, okay, time to get up, it's lunchtime. That's also a chashuv position, but he'd prefer to be gathering people to learn rather than to tell them, okay, stop learning, it's lunchtime. Okay, fine. Right, as Rashi says, Ma'amidei memunim le'esa ochel, the people who are appointed for the time to eat. Lomer higia eis lamud v'lecho, to say that it's time to get up now and to eat. Fine. Rabbi Yossi says also, look, I would prefer to be from those who collect money for tzedakah rather than for those who have to apportion the tzedakah to the people, because that's complicated, because sometimes maybe you'll have more mercy on a certain person, you'll give him more, but that also means that then you'll give somebody else less, and it's a lot of responsibility, and it's complicated. From Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi, my portion should be with somebody who they suspect him of doing something, but he didn't actually do it. Interesting. So Papa says, they suspect me, but it's not true. Don't listen to them. Okay. Amr Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi, Chamish be'ilos ba'alti v'nataiti chamisha arazim b'Yisrael. I slept with my wife 5 times, and by doing so, I planted 5 cedar trees in Israel. What are these 5 cedar trees that I planted by having intercourse with my wife? Uman Inun, who are these 5 cedar trees? Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chalafta, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Avtilas, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Menachem, Rabbi Yossi. Va'ika Vardimas. What about Vardimas? Hainu Vardimas, Hainu Menachem. Vardimas is the same person as Menachem. Va'amai Karle Vardimas. How come we call him Vardimas? Shapanav Dom and Levered, because his face was like a rose. What does it mean that he only slept with his wife 5 times? What about the mitzvah of Ona? What about the commandment for a husband and wife to sleep together? So Ela Ema Chamish Be'ilos Ba'alti V'Shanisi. Interesting. He says no. I mean, he was Mekayim the mitzvah of Ona, but there were 5 times when he slept with his wife and then immediately he slept with her again, because apparently that's a trick for how to get boys. So he did that trick, and that's why he got these 5 boys that are like these cedars in Israel. Rabbi Yossi, miyamele korisi ishti l'shori shori. Interesting. So Rabbi Yossi says, look, I never called my wife simply my wife, and I also never called my ox simply my ox, because it's not meaningful. Wife. What does wife mean? Right? Ella l'ishti beisi l'shori sadai. Rather, I called my wife my house, because that has more meaning. It meaning it's referring to the fact that she's not just married to me, but she's the whole backbone and structure of my entire household, and also my ox. What meaning is there in calling an ox, right? It's just calling it what it is, but rather it's saying it's my field, right? I can accredit all of the produce of my field to the hard work of this ox, and therefore, meaning what it's saying is that Rabbi Yossi wouldn't just say things stam. He put meaning into everything that he said. Right? You wouldn't just say things, if there's a way to say something in a more meaningful way that has broader context, he would prefer to do that. Rabbi Yossi, Miyamai lo nistakalti b'mila shali. Oh, says Rabbi Yossi that he never looked at his bris milah. Ini, is this true? Ve'amru le Rebbe, my time ukaru lecha Rabbeinu HaKadosh. But one second, they said to Rebbe, how come you are called Rabbeinu HaKadosh? Amru miyamai lo nistakalti b'mila shali. He said, you know why I'm Rabbeinu HaKadosh? Because I never looked at my bris milah. Well, if that's the case, then we should also call Rabbi Yossi Rabbeinu HaKadosh. What makes Rebbe so special? No, so Rebbe milsa achrisa havabe. But there was an additional aspect of Rebbe, attributed to Rebbe, which was shalichnis yadu tachas avneto. He would never even lower his hand lower than his belt. One step further. Fine. Rabbi Yossi also said that the walls of my house never even saw the inner seams of my clothing, of my garment. Meaning, when he would take off his clothes in such a tsanua way that he would first, if I understand correctly, he would get into bed first, and once he was in bed, he would then kind of slide his clothing off of him, not that he would somehow lift up his shirt in a way that would show the inner threads, and then by then he would be showing a shtickle skin, I guess. He would always be super machmir that even the walls of his house he should be tsanua in front of the walls of his house. Fine. Where am I? Rabbi Yossi says, Rabbi Yossi miyamai lo avarti al divrei chaverai. I never transgressed the words of my friends. This is very interesting. Yodea ani ba'atzim she'eni kohen. Rabbi Yossi says, look, I'm aware of the fact that I'm not a kohen. Now, but nonetheless, im omrim li chaverai ale leduchan. But if my friends would say to me, hey, go up to the duchan, go and bless us. Ani ola. So look, I would go up. I mean, some of you wouldn't actually do the blessings, but nonetheless he would go up, which is very interesting. Meaning, it sounds like whatever his friends told him to do, he would do. Okay, why is that a good thing? I don't know. This is cool. Rabbi Yossi says, look, I never said anything and walked back on it. And as Rashi says, that Rabbi Yossi's opinion is Rabbi Yossi's opinion regarding Lashon Hara is that it's Lashon Hara if it's something that you would not feel comfortable taking credit for. Meaning, if you would say, Ruvain did X, Y, and Z, it's Lashon Hara, maybe. So then Ruvain would come to him and say, hey, did you say that I did X, Y, and Z? So if you're willing to say, yes, I did say that, well then it's not Lashon Hara. If you're unwilling to admit that, well then it would be considered Lashon Hara. What's the definition of Lashon Hara? Gossip, I guess. In any event. No? Right, so what Rabbi Yossi is saying is he always stood by his word. If he said something, and then somebody would come and say, hey, did you say that? If he said it, he would always say that, he would maintain his integrity on that. Fine. Amar Rav Nachman, Teisli the Kayamis Shalosh Sudas b'Shabbos. Rav Nachman says, look, I should get my reward because I eat 3 meals on Shabbos. Amar Rav Yehuda, Teisli the Kayamis Iyun Tefillah. Rav Yehuda says, look, I should get my reward because I, I spend proper time with my tefillas, with my prayers. Amar Rav Huna, brother of Yoshua, Teisli de lo Sagina Dalar Amos, Begili Arosh. Says Rav Huna, brother of Yoshua, I should get reward because I never walk 4 Amos without a head covering. Amar Rav Sheshes, Teisli de Kayamis Mitzvahs Tefillin. Says Rav Sheshes, I should get reward because I'm Mekayim Mitzvahs Tefillin. And Rashi says that he doesn't walk 4 Amos without his tefillin on. Wow. From Rav Nachman Teisli, the Kayamas Mitzvahs Tzitzis, and Rav Nachman says it should come to me because I am Mekayim, the mitzvah of Tzitzis. Interesting that Rav Nachman kind of said 2 things. He said I should get reward because I eat 3 meals on Shabbos, and also because I wear tzitzis. Okay? Amar Rav Yosef, Rav Yosef Brei Rabba. So Rav Yosef said to Rav Yosef, who was the son of his contemporary Rabbah, Avuch b'mai zayir tfei. What is your father most stringent about? Amar lei b'tzitzis. He's the most, makbid on tzitzis. Yom achar ava kasalig b'darga, ifsik lechuta v'lonachis ve'asa kama de ramya. One time he was going up a ladder, and one of the strings of his tzitzis snapped, and he didn't go down until he fixed it. He was so makbid on not walking dalat amos, not moving without wearing tzitzis, that one time going up a ladder, the tzitzis snapped, and he didn't move, he didn't go down from the ladder until he fixed his tzitzis. Wow, friends, that was awesome, right? Yeah, it was. Very, very cool. I mean, it's hard to kind of do a review on a page like this, but, just to remind you, way back when at the beginning of the daf, so we had a machlokes about how many meals does one eat on Shabbos. The Chacham said that you eat 3 meals. Rabbi Chidka said you eat 4 meals. And we tried to prove it either way, whatever it is. And then we got into some great, we talked about washing dishes, whatever. You can wash dishes as long as you still have a use for them. Once you no longer have a use for them, so then you can't wash them anymore. Then we just saw some awesome stuff. We saw Shei Shabbat Chachol, about Tzarich Labrios, and we talked about the great, awesome stuff about like eating 3 meals on Shabbos and these famous agadatas. If the Yidden would keep 2 Shabbos, 2 Shabbosos, they would immediately get redeemed. All sorts of very, very, very interesting stuff. Friends, have a great day, or night, or whatever you want to have. Right. It's like, right? Because we said, if anybody's Ma'anik Shabbos, he gets whatever he wants. So now, go get him, friends. Now that we know how to be Ma'anik Shabbos, go get whatever you want.